Joy Organics. And thank you all for joining the call today. We're going to get started here in just about 60 seconds. So go ahead and grab a drink and grab a notepad, and we're going to get going here. All right, guys. Well, thank you again for joining this webinar. We have the privilege today to have Lenny Ford from IMG, which stands for Internet Marketing Geeks, on the call today. And he is going to give us some strategies on digital marketing. Lenny is just a phenomenal person. I've worked with him personally for, probably 5-6 years now. And he's got over a decade of digital marketing experience, and he is the guy we were just joking about this a couple minutes ago who can go in and fix anything. So you are going to learn just a tremendous amount on this call today. I wanted to remind you before we dive in, though, that we have these calls every week. There's new speakers all the time. I'm actually leading the call that's going to happen next week, but you can just use the same link. It's the same time, same day. We try to fill these with as much, just incredible content as we possibly can. So I know we've got a limited amount of time. So Lenny, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
All right. Thank you, Jared. So excited to be here. I'm glad to be on the call and be able to walk through 10 simple strategies for building an online business with you guys this week. So we do have a lot to cover, and I tend to wax philosophic on things. So I'm going to dive right in and not waste any time to make sure that I can say everything that I want to say. So 10 simple strategies for building an online business. A little bit about me first, so you can kind of get an idea of who I am, why you should care about what I say. As Jared said, I'm the Vice President at Internet Marketing Geeks. I've been doing this for just about 15 years, digital marketing, brand building. In that time, I've helped launch and run over 1,500 digital marketing campaigns. So I've dealt with a lot of businesses, big, small, and everything in between. So today we're going to go into, again, 10 strategies for building an online business. We're going to, with the limited amount of time, we can't dig in too deep. So we're going to kind of skim the surface, but hoping that we'll be able to give each and every one of you something that you haven't heard before out of this presentation, some actionable tips and some good resources. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Number one is going to be invest in yourself. And it may seem weird that we're here to talk about building an online business, but now we're going to talk about you for a minute. It's actually really quite important as a business owner, as you dive in and start to create your business, that you invest in yourself, because no one really cares more about your business than you. Not your employees, not the digital marketing company that you hire. You care about your business more than anyone else. So in that same vein, nobody else knows as much about your particular business than you. That doesn't mean that people don't know, as an example, about CBD or CBD products, or they may know more than you, but they don't know the nuances of your business. And the reason that's important is because you're going to be that driving force behind your company. So if you don't invest in yourself, you're not going to be either A, as effective as you could be, as efficient as you could be, and you may not be there as long as you could be, right? If you don't invest in yourself. So there really are, I think, two really, really important things that you need to do for yourself as a business owner starting an online business. And those really are education and self-care, okay? So let's look at each one of these individually. Education first. Education is, of course, really important. There are some really great resources available online, both paid and free. And I want to show you a couple of those so that you can kind of start down that path yourself. And the first one here is Digital Marketer. Digital Marketer is a really fantastic resource for learning about digital marketing, but also they have training courses that will basically take you stem to stern, right from knowing nothing to being pretty much an expert in just about every aspect of digital marketing. I've been through their trainings years ago, and they were fabulous. And we still, from time to time, I go and grab stuff from them because they have resources, again, that you can use. You can see some of them in the background of this homepage screenshot here, that they have, like the ultimate social media swipe file or the ultimate guide to Facebook targeting. There's so many good resources here to help you do better on your own at digital marketing, but also help you understand what's being done for you. If you're using a company to do your digital marketing or somebody else on your team, it is important that you as the business owner at least have a passable knowledge of what's going on and what you should and shouldn't be doing when it comes to digital marketing. And this is a really great resource. It's not free, unfortunately, but it's worth every penny. I think their monthly cost is around $100 a month. But I mean, just the resources, let alone their training, just the resources you get from them, the PDFs, the swipe files, totally worth that amount of money, in my opinion. And like I said, I've been through it, and we send just about everybody in our agency through their courses because they just really are that good. So Digital Marketer, really great resource. Another one is Linda, who just got bought out by LinkedIn. So their homepage now says that it's now LinkedIn Learning. But just from the homepage here, we can see they've got well over 700 courses in design, development, photography, 1,200 courses in business. One of the biggest things I think a lot of business owners end up kind of missing is that business side of stuff. You start a business and you're excited about it. You've got your product, you've got flashy design, you're feeling really good, but you don't actually know how to run a business effectively. Linda's great for that. These are just expert people on Linda, which is now LinkedIn Learning again. But I highly suggest, again, not a free resource, but definitely worth, again, every penny. We use this extensively for training our teams as well as digital marketer. So a couple of resources for you. Check those out. And of course, just a little bit of Google Foo will give you tens of thousands of free resources along with these paid ones. So let's talk about self-care for a minute. You've got to treat yourself. The reason being, you want to make sure that you are avoiding burnout. As a business owner, you're going to work long hours. You're going to work hard. You're going to work more than anybody else in your business. And it's easy to get burned out. So you want to avoid that. You got to take time for yourself. You got to take time for your family to rest, relax. And again, take time for your friends and family because they miss you. They want to see you. Building the business is great, but don't neglect those relationships. And there's really some kind of business reasons behind this beyond just avoiding burnout. The first one is that ideas come unexpectedly. I know Jared's a big proponent of taking walks to think. And I would agree with him. I think 99% of the biggest, best ideas I've ever come up with didn't happen when I was sitting here in front of my computer. It happens when I'm out for a walk, when I'm taking a shower in the morning, when I'm making the kids breakfast. Ding! Oh, that thing that's been troubling me all week, I got it. And it's because when you try and force that stuff, oh, that's just a recipe for disaster. It really makes sense to take some time to just kind of decompress from work, and naturally your brain will keep kind of going. And a lot of times that's where the best ideas come from. They come up unexpectedly when you're doing stuff that's not related to work. Gives you a chance to rest, relax, your brain to rest and relax, and kind of think about things in a different way. The other aspect to this is if you take time out for your friends and family, insights from outside of your own kind of echo chamber can be incredibly valuable. You'll be talking naturally with friends and family about your new business, about what you're doing, and somebody may say, hey, X, whatever it is, and you go, oh man, I never thought of that. What a great, fantastic idea. So having other people's input can be extremely valuable, and we'll talk more about that later. But you won't get any outside input if you're just nose to the grindstone 24/7. So you do need to take that time. And the last point here is don't build a business with regrets. I've heard this quote. I don't know who to attribute it to, but I've heard it so many times, it doesn't really matter. But the kind of, I say it's a quote, but maybe it's a little mini story, that, people tend, if you talk to somebody at the end of their lives, I would say almost nobody. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, looking back on my life, the one regret is that I didn't spend more time working. Nobody says that. Everybody always says, my biggest regret is that I didn't spend more time with my kids or with my wife or with my family or on the important things instead of building that business. Nobody goes, man, I wish I had just ignored everybody in my life and built my business. So don't do that. Don't build your business on top of regrets. Make sure that it's important. I'm not saying don't put in the time and think it's going to be easy street, but balance in all things is really important, right? So investing in yourself, both in your education and taking care of yourself as you build a business, because it is a long, hard road. Very, very few people are going to be instant millionaires or overnight successes. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and you don't want to burn out. You want to make sure that you can be there for your company that you're building for the long term. All right, point 2, invest in your business. Just like you invest in yourself, you also need to invest in your business. A lot of folks end up, I think that I've talked to clients that we've had in the past, don't realize things like on average, and this is a vast, generalization. Some people will see it much, much sooner. Some will take longer, but on average, small businesses take 2 to 3 years to actually see profit from the business. So it's very rare to start making profit immediately unless you have some way that your business is super low, input cost, and you're able to sell whatever it is for a very high margin. It's likely that you're going to take quite a while to build up a customer base where you actually see consistent profits. Small business, even when starting out, you should expect to put 10 to 20% of your gross or your projected income towards your marketing. Because when you start a business, right, anonymity is the biggest hurdle you have to get over. Nobody knows who you are. And the only way to get people to know who you are is marketing, whether that's digital, in-person, guerrilla marketing, traditional, TV, radio, billboards, whatever, marketing. It's the only way. That's kind of the definition of it, is getting yourself out there in front of people so they know who you are. Now, again, this is a generalization. A lot of marketing you can do yourself. You can do by yourself, DIY, and the only cost is the opportunity cost, the time that it took you to do that, as opposed to paying somebody else to do it. But kind of the general consensus in business is that's where most businesses sit, is between 10 to 20% of their gross projected revenue going towards their marketing. It is tempting to take as much as you can out of the business. I heard a very well-known business consultant say once to an audience, somebody asked him the question, how can I build $1 billion business? This guy builds billion-dollar businesses. So how can I do it? And he said, you'll never do it, because the guy went on to explain what he was doing. And it was basically, I'm taking a big salary out of my company and I want to be able to sit on a beach somewhere. And this business consultant said, you'll never build a $1 billion business like that. And the guy was kind of taken aback. And he said, the difference between me and you is that you're trying to take everything you can out of the business now. I take everything the business makes and I pour it back into the business for the future return of having $1 billion business, right? So right now, yeah, you might get 100,000, 200,000 a year out of the business, but if you poured that back in 10 years from now, that business will deliver you 2, 3, 4, 5 million a year into your own personal bank account. So that was the difference, right? So it's tempting to take as much as you can out of the business. As an owner, you can do an owner's draw. You can pull out every bit of money that business makes and keep it for yourself. Don't do it. Probably one of the worst things you can do. You want to reinvest into your business. I always counsel our clients to make sure that you pay yourself if your business can support that. A lot of businesses, the very first digital marketing agency that I ever worked for, the owner of that company told me once, he said, the first 5 years of running this company, I didn't take a salary. I took out loans to float the company for 5 years. It wasn't until 5 years in that we really had a customer base. We were making profit and I was able to pay back my loans, start paying myself. He didn't take a salary and poured everything right back into the business. And now they're very, very successful. It was a very, very astute observation of him to do that and work it that way rather than trying to just, hey, this business is here to serve me and make me money. It is in the long run, but generally not right out of the gate. So once your business can sustain paying you as the owner, I suggest you pay yourself a set amount, just like a normal employee. Anything above that the company makes, put back into the company, okay? So the other piece to this is, especially in kind of today's atmosphere, right? you want to make sure that you are looking to squirrel away 3 to 6 months of operating costs. At the time of this recording, I'm sure this will be up on YouTube later, but right now, today, when we're recording this, we're in the middle of the coronavirus outbreak. Everybody's, except essential businesses, have been sent home. Everybody's working from home. A lot of businesses aren't working at all. And everyone's taking advantage of the payroll protection program, taking out loans to float their employees to make sure that everybody will still have a job. But if you are a smart business owner, you already had 3 to 6 months built up of payroll, of all your operating expenses, and you can weather a storm like this and your business will continue to operate. Or if sales crash for any reason, you're able to continue operating until you can get out of that rut or whatever the issue is. So I highly suggest that. I would say the vast majority of businesses do not do this. And it's just like the vast majority of households. It's just like normal household budgeting, right? Standard wisdom is make sure you have 3 to 6 months of pay for yourself in the bank. So if you lose your job, you can continue to make your bills. It's the same thing for a business. But a lot of times, again, we kind of forget that when it comes to business. We think, oh, it's a money-making machine. I want to take everything from it. Make sure you have that 3 to 6 months of operating costs. It takes time to get there. You're not going to do it in the first month. Definitely it takes time to build that up. But make that a priority and a goal for your business, and it will greatly help you in the long run.
This is a great point. Real quick there, Lenny. I think this is something that most business owners miss. And if I were to say, what's one of the most important factors that have made us successful at Joy Organics, that have made, the agency that I helped build up successful, it is this very point. I mean, I think back to those early days in the agency when we'd make $10,000, $20,000 in profit at the end of the year. Instead of taking that, I'd be like, great, we're putting all of that into link building so that we would, basically get our SEO rankings improving for the next year. And then the next year we'd have 40, 50,000, be like, great, I want you to take half of that and we're putting that into links. We're taking the other half. We're going to do these other investments with it. And it snowballed. I mean, that's how we were able to build a multi-million-dollar a year business without any capital. I mean, there was no funding. I started that with no money whatsoever, and built it into a company that did multi-million dollars a year. And it was just that reinvestment. And we've taken that same approach with Joy Organics, where as owners, we're not taking a major salary. We're required by law to take a small salary because this is a new requirement on the IRS side. But it's a very, very small amount of money that we have to take, because our goal is just to reinvest, knowing that we'll see the return one day. But I would rather reinvest those profits right now, have those compound right now, so that, when we take the money out down the road, that it's significant. So Lenny, this is just a really, really good point.
Yeah, thanks, Jared. And it really, we can't stress this enough. So many businesses, through this time that we're going through the pandemic, there's going to be a lot of businesses that don't succeed and don't come through the other side because they didn't have the forethought to do this. This really is a very important point.
Yeah.
All right. So investing in your business, those are just some general points, but I want to talk about some specific things, in particular packaging, especially as a retail operation where you're selling a product online. Packaging is really, really important, and it's not something that you should just gloss over and think, we don't have to do a lot with it. Let's do it as cheaply as we can. Really, it's something you've got to invest in. It's something that is so important to your product. And the reason is that people, especially online, generally, they don't have the time to sit there and really think about the advantages and the disadvantages of your product versus another one. People are very, very instant gratification is kind of the buzzword for today, right? I want it and I want it now. And I don't want to take time to think about it. I want to just do it. So because they don't want to do that, they look for a shortcut. And that shortcut in retail is going to be your packaging. Think about anytime you've gone to the grocery store and you walk down the aisle and, okay, I got to get, I know I do this when my wife sends me to the grocery store. Oh, honey, go get laundry detergent. I don't know, whatever. I get in that aisle and it's all the same to me. So I'm going to pick the one that catches my eye, right? Because it's all, I don't know anything about it. It's all the same. Nothing really does anything for me except for the packaging when it comes to things like that. And it's going to be true for a lot of products. So your packaging really is that shortcut. Excuse me. So it's powerful because it tells consumers why your product and brand are different. And it can become a powerful part of your brand image. So let's look at an example of that. We all know what this is, I hope. Even though the company's name is obscured by the white bow, we all know that this is a Tiffany box, right? It's become a powerful part of their brand. This box is more recognizable. If you saw a piece of Tiffany jewelry, you wouldn't know it from anything else. But this box, oh, we know that's Tiffany, right? And that becomes almost more important than the piece of jewelry that's inside of it. So your packaging can be very, very important to pushing your brand forward and becoming an identifiable part of your brand. So this picture is, there's a bunch of these online. A designer went through and he took packaging and he tried to reduce it down and make it very minimalist, right? So on the left is the real package, on the right is the minimalist version. From a design standpoint, the right is wonderful, right? It's clean, it's to the point, but I still want to buy the product on the left because it catches my eye. It's appealing. It's much more appealing than the minimalist version on the right. That look, the right-hand side, I think, looks like the store brand, right? The no-name generic brand, where if I were if I'm walking down that aisle and I see these two products side by side, the one on the right and the one on the left, I'm buying the one on the left 100% of the time because I'm seeing the product. It looks good. It's making my mouth water already, while the right-hand side looks like, again, the store brand, right? We have no time for design, no money for design. Just slap the name on the box and let's go. So your packaging is extremely important. Make sure that you spend the time and effort getting attractive packaging that will set you apart from the competition. The next piece of investing into your business is your website. Okay, this is the central hub. It's realistically, in today's day and age, it's the most important thing you're going to do because all of your efforts in general, especially building an online business, are going to be pushing people back to this website. So it's got to be good. Don't skimp out here. This is the hub for everything you're going to do. Make sure that you put, again, the time, the money, the effort, whatever it is, whether you're doing it yourself, hiring somebody, do it right. You want to make sure that you spend that time. Let's look at some good and bad examples. I'm not calling these guys out, this particular brand, so I blurred their logo and censored their name. But in this example, what I did was I Googled buy CBD oil. And then I immediately went to page 10 of Google and clicked on the first result on page 10, and it was these guys. So there are some things I really want to point out here. The first being all these underlined phrases that I just really quickly and quite messily scribbled under in Photoshop. They are attempting to stuff keywords into their content to show up in Google search, right? So they're putting in buy CBD oil for sale, best CBD oil products. But they're doing it in a very unnatural, obvious way. And that's really bad. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that your language is natural. We'll get into that in the SEO part in a little bit. But they have no call to action. They're not driving me to do anything. And it just feels unnatural. So it's important to really kind of shy away from that and make sure that you really just get across, one, the overall look of your brand needs to be professional, which I won't go into all the reasons why this is not, but as a designer, I look at this and instantly go, it's not professional. This was, somebody made this for themselves or was an amateur designer, which isn't bad. I'm not harping on those guys. They're probably doing the best they can, but it's obvious that it's not. You probably don't think that way. Most people don't. Generally speaking, what you're likely to be thinking in your head is just, I don't trust this and I don't know why. But I tend to think that your brain does some thinking in like milliseconds. And it kind of goes like this, at least in my mind. This website doesn't look professional to me. It's probably not professional because they don't have the money to actually hire a good professional designer. They don't have the money to hire a good professional designer because nobody buys their product. Nobody buys their product because their product's bad. I don't want to buy this product. All of that happens instantly in your mind. You probably don't even think those things out loud or in any way you actually think that, but it is what happens. That's the first impression I get, right? So contrasting that with a really well done one. Hey, we all know this brand, right? Really well done. Looks professional. It's clean. Everything about it screams high end. They know what they're doing. And again, the opposite is true. this looks really good. They obviously hired a really good designer. They have the money to hire a really good designer because people buy their product because their product's really good. I want to buy the product. So that's just one aspect of why your website is so important. But your website is, beyond being the hub of your marketing, it's where your product is actually being sold. So it's literally the most important thing, I think, to your online business. More important than any ads you're running, anything else you're doing, is that your website has to be clean, intuitive, easy to use, get across what it needs to get across in a succinct way. And if we look at the verbiage, even on Joy's site, live your joy with the finest THC-free CBD products. There's some keywording going on here, finest THC-free CBD products, but it doesn't feel unnatural, doesn't look weird, doesn't look like they stuck it in there just to rank, but that's why it's there. I can guarantee it that that's why it's there. So, but it feels natural and it feels good. I don't look at that and think, oh, that was an obvious SEO play right there. No, they're getting across, what's in it for you that you can live joyfully. They're getting across what it is. It's the finest THC-free CBD products. And they're getting across what your next step is. Shop now, a CTA button, right? Which we didn't see with this website. We have no CTA. We have a bunch of keyword stuffing and kind of an overall amateurish look, right? So your website is very important. Invest in it.
Real quick, Lenny, I just want to touch on that one point, because Lenny has been the one that can we go back to that real quick? The one that's taught me so much about these hero shots. And Lenny, always taught us at the agency that, you've got to make it clear who you are and why that's important to somebody. And I want to just mention this statement that he just shared. That literally took me a year plus to put that together. This is not something we just, we've gone through lots of statements, but I wanted to come up with something that had that. Here's who we are, which we're a CBD company. I want them to know what we sell as soon as they land on there, but I want them to know what the brand promise is, the why behind that. Why is it important that you do business with us? Because we're going to help you live your joy. And so, this statement right here gets people to move through the site, and it's one of the most important statements on the entire website. But, as I've been thinking about that statement, over the last year in thinking about what Lenny's taught me as it relates to, when they land on there, boy, you better tell them right away who you are and why that's important to them. And so spending time on that one statement to make sure you've got a brand promise, to make sure it's clear what you do, is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. There's even more to unpack here, which we're going to get to in some later points, because there's a lot going on here and a lot of really good things that I want to talk about. We are 27 minutes into the call and we're on number 2. So we're going to go rapid fire to make sure we can get through all of this for you guys today. Number 3, point 3, affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is really important. Jared, just no real numbers, but affiliate marketing, is it not at all important, somewhat important, or super important to you guys?
Extraordinarily important. It's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. It really is one of the best things you can do as an online retailer, because it's essentially getting people to work for you for commission-based, essentially, right? So you're only paying when product actually gets bought. And that's kind of the best thing about affiliate marketing. You provide a percentage of the sale price for real customers, for people who actually bought. If they don't buy, you don't pay. So it's plain and simple, commission-based, just like most typical sales, except that an affiliate doesn't actually work for you directly. They're their own independent person, they're their own independent marketer, but they provide customers to you. So you pay nothing unless people actually buy the product. This is better than traditional pay-per-click advertising, right? You pay when somebody clicks on your ad, but they don't necessarily buy. With affiliate marketing, you're only paying if they buy something. And that is kind of an instant ROI, return on your investment, instantly, because you're only paying when they actually buy something. So we get the question a lot at our agency: how do I find an affiliate? How do I get affiliates to want to work for me? Well, affiliates are out there looking for people who have affiliate programs so they can advertise that product and make their money. So what are they looking for? Affiliates, number one, are looking for profit. Really, it's a business to them. It's how they make their living. So you want to be able to provide a good chunk of that sales price to the affiliate. As an example, You're selling a product that's $10 a pop and you're going to give 10% to your affiliate, or you're selling a product that's $100 a pop and you're going to give 10% to your affiliate. As an affiliate, I want to work with a company that sells the $100 product, not the $10 product, because I make more money getting, 10% of $100. So they look at what's the profit margin? How much am I going to make off of this? Is it worthwhile for me to put in all the effort that I'm going to as an affiliate to hawk this product, to set up whatever it is, whether I have a website already going, maybe I'm going to build a whole new website for this product, or I'm going to get out there and beat the street, whatever it is, I've got to make sure that it makes sense for me from a profit standpoint as an affiliate. The next thing I'm looking for is a really good product. I'm not wanting as an affiliate to sell bad product. So just make sure that your product is really good, really high quality, makes it much easier for your affiliates to promote your product online. The third thing I'm looking for as an affiliate is assets and good marketing from the business that I'm working with, right? So I could be the best affiliate in the world and I could send 10,000 people a day to your website. If your website is not good and your landing pages are not good and they aren't going to convert the 10,000 people that I send to you, that is completely useless to me as an affiliate. It's not worth my time. I would rather send those 10,000 people to somebody who has good marketing in place and will actually convert the people that I send over there, right? So this is why your website is so important. You've got to be able to convert the people that come in. So that's what affiliates are looking for. And the last piece of this is affiliate software is really easy to set up. A lot of people come to us and ask us, hey, how can we do this? And how much is it going to, a lot of time, how much is it going to cost? Cost is negligible. WordPress, BigCommerce, Shopify, all of them have this stuff ready to go. You just plug and play. It's really, really easy these days to set this up, and it's something you should definitely take advantage of. So affiliate marketing.
Yeah, real quickly, let me just point out something that's so important for this. So again, this is performance-based. You're only paying when they generate a sale, and you're only paying on the first sale. So when we acquired that customer, we pay 25% of the sale. Now that customer is ours. And when we send them emails, they're going to buy from us. So we're only paying that 25% one time, assuming we do a good job at keeping that customer. So that's huge.
Really great point, Jared. I'm glad you brought that up. And Jared mentioned a number, 25%. To me, hey, if they want, I'll give the product for free that first time. If it means they're going to buy from me every 30 days, that client's lifetime value to me is thousands of dollars. I don't care about the $100 I got to pay to the affiliate to get them through the door that first time, right? So taking that longer view instead of the immediate can be really helpful for how you plan out your marketing strategies. All right, point 4, hire a consultant or a board of advisors, depending on your size and what your startup looks like. But the reason behind this is that you know your business, but you don't know everything, right? You're going to be educating yourself, but there's so many things. Every single thing we're talking about today on this call, we are literally skimming the surface. Every one of these is so deep. We could talk for hours and hours about any one individual thing, right? So you can't know everything. And you want to make sure that you as the business owner are focusing on what you can do better and what your expertise is. So let's say you're amazing at sales, right? You're just, man, as a business owner, a lot of us tend to be good at sales because we were the first salespeople in the business. So a lot of times, if that's your expertise, do that. Lean into it. Don't try and be something you're not, and make sure that you are taking advantage of other people's knowledge, especially on complicated topics, right? If you don't know how to do accounting, how to run the books, don't do it. You might have to at first, obviously, but if you can get someone else who knows what they're doing to do it, do that. It's definitely worthwhile because it frees you up to do the things you're really good at. Focus on building your business instead of being in the weeds of the business in these tiny little tasks that really you shouldn't be spending your time on. So in hiring a consultant, I think it is important that you meet regularly. If you are highly motivated, monthly is a great cadence for meeting with a consultant. They'll look at what you're doing, and give you advice on what you should do and help you lay out a plan. But again, I think monthly is only if you're highly motivated. Really look deep inside and say, am I really motivated enough to do everything they're giving me every single month, or am I going to kind of just slack off? So that's why I say quarterly is probably ideal. It gives you 3 months to do the plan that you're putting in place. But either way, the the basic idea here is that you want to meet regularly with this consultant, and the consultant isn't necessarily just marketing. Maybe it's a business consultant. Maybe it is a financial consultant. It can be any aspect. But the point is to meet with them regularly, tell them what you're doing, leverage their advice and their years of experience in running businesses. And in that same vein, research heavily before you make a decision on who should be your consultant. You want to make sure that they do have a track record of success, that they've helped other businesses in your vertical, and that they can show you that they've been successful in that. And then beyond that, getting testimonials from other people that they've worked with, and yeah, oh, it was great. I derived so much value out of that. Or you may talk to somebody and they'll go, no, I feel like I wasted my money big time. That's a good thing to know before you sign on the dotted line and have somebody come in and start giving you advice about your business. So hiring a consultant, especially early on, right? This probably isn't such a big deal once you're established and you've been a brand, been around for 10 years. Not such a big deal. You probably have a good handle on what's going on. But in the very initial stages of opening and starting an online business, it can be hugely, hugely beneficial to have a consultant. I know we do at Internet Marketing Geeks. We have a business consultant that our president, myself, and a few of our key members meet with every other week. Actually, we do it on a bi-weekly cadence and talk to them about what we're doing, business issues. Is this a good idea? Is that a good idea? We're thinking about this. And it's just so beneficial to have somebody who has so many more years of experience than us give us advice. And hey, in the past, I've done this, this, and this, and these have worked, and that hasn't, and here's why. The insights have been absolutely invaluable to me, at least. So I highly suggest getting a consultant or a board of advisors, at least in the initial stages of your business. All right, number 5, automate your email marketing. Now, when I say automate email marketing, I don't mean, let me give you a kind of a scenario, right? MailChimp is a hugely popular email marketing platform. And so you can put your email list in there, you can set up templates, and then you can schedule or you can send out newsletters. That's not the automation that I'm talking about. Manually writing an email every single month or every 2 weeks or every week, hitting send in MailChimp and it goes out. That's not automation, okay? That's you manually doing it every single week. I'm talking real automation where you write it once and you don't touch it again. You want to automate as much as you can, and email marketing is a great place to start. So there's lots of providers out there, MailChimp, Constant Contact, Drip, there's a ton of them, but very few are friendly to CBD businesses. One that I know Joy is very excited about, and we've been using them as well, is Klaviyo. And I highly suggest you go to them. They are very CBD friendly. They're happy to work with CBD businesses, and they're an amazing platform. Like at first, for me, it was just, oh, great, we found somebody who will work with CBD businesses. Everything's hunky-dory. When I actually started using their platform, it blew my mind. I was like, wow, this is a fantastic platform. This is better than MailChimp, better than Constant Contact in my mind. And there's a few key reasons why. They have email workflows. So this is super powerful. You can set up email workflows. So as an example, person comes to your site, signs up for your newsletter, and you can have this all automated where they sign up for your newsletter, so they get email A 1 day after signing up. And then the system waits 3 days and it sends email B that you wrote some point in the past. And then 3 days after that, it sends one more, and maybe that has a discount code, right, for your store. And that all happens automatically. You don't have to touch it, right? Once the email goes in, the timer starts in Klaviyo, it does it. You only have to write the emails one time, and your automated workflow is good to go. Now, the other piece to this that makes it really powerful is that you can do conditional-based branching. What I mean by that is, again, I'll take it back to this example. Somebody comes to my website, they sign up for my newsletter. The next day, they get that very first email. That email has a link in it back to our website. In Klaviyo, you can set up and say, if they click that link, send them email C instead of email B, right? Or if they don't click that link, send them email B. So you can do conditional-based emails. You can say if they took a specific action. If, for example, let's say we send that first email out again and they don't open it at all. That can be a condition. You go, okay, if they don't open the first email, let's send them this special email that we made for people who don't open the initial email. But if they do open it, they go into a different branch of the system and emails get sent automatically. It can get very, very complicated. You can set up a tree that's just insane. But from a marketing standpoint, having that automation in place so you don't have to do it after the first time is hugely valuable in that opportunity cost, the time that you spend doing things that really matter for your business. It also allows you to do A/B testing, so you can send the same email with different headlines or different subject lines, or different little changes in the body copy to the email, and you can figure out which one is really more appealing to customers. What are they interacting with more? And that's built right into the system. It will automatically send the same email with that, whatever the change is. Let's say we're testing 2 subject lines. 50% of your email list will get one, 50% get the other, and then you can look at what was the open rate between the two and make some data-based decisions instead of just emotional-based decisions. I think this is a good subject line. You can actually have data to back that up. So what are the most important types of emails to automate when you're starting out? I think there are three main ones. The first is a welcome series, and that was kind of my example that I just used, in that a welcome series are the emails that you send out the first time somebody interacts with your brand. So whether they've signed up for the newsletter or they bought product, and maybe these are 2 separate welcome series, right? Because if they buy product, you want to say something different than if they don't buy product. But a welcome series. So they buy something, they get a, hey, the first email is thanks for buying and we really appreciate it. Here's a little bit about us. Second email is a little bit more about the product. Third email is a discount to buy more, right? For if they didn't buy anything, maybe the first email has that discount in it, right? So, but you can set all that up. A welcome series is amazing as an automated series to just get people to kind of buy into the brand and feel more of an affinity to your brand. The second one is cart abandonment. This one's super straightforward, and I would hope that just about everybody knows this is a thing and something you'd want to leverage. Somebody puts items into their cart, they don't buy them, and they leave the site, and they're still sitting there in the cart. If the person has an account on your site, the system can send them an email reminding them, hey, you got these 3 items in your cart. If you want to come back and purchase them right now, we'll give you 10% off that cart value. So you can provide, again, discounts against a cart that got left and potentially get back that sale that you would have lost otherwise. And the last one is a win-back email. So you can automate these to send out 30 days, 25 days, 35 days, depending on what you're trying to do after a purchase is made. Because we're selling a product that we want people to continue to buy month after month, it's good to reach out to them at those intervals. So as an example, they're buying gummies. We expect that the gummies will last about 30 days. So in my mind, I would say maybe 25 days, I want to send an email that says, hey, don't forget to re-up. You're probably close to getting out, to running out. So here's a link right to the gummies page. Bang, go buy them. The other kind of flip side to that is maybe you send one afterward, right? So, and again, this is where the email workflows work really nicely. So we send that one at 25 days. They don't buy. At 30 days, we're going to say, hey, you're probably out. You should really come back and buy. They don't buy still. Now at 35 days, discount code and try and get them back and win them back as a client again. So these can be incredibly powerful, things that you can set once and not have to really deal with again for a while. You don't want to just leave them collecting dust. You do want to A/B test, optimize, refresh them every once in a while. But for the most part, you can let them sit once you've set them up and they're working correctly.
Yeah, real quickly on that, Lenny, this has been a game changer for us. We've with the other companies that we've helped over the years, we're very familiar with the Constant Contact, MailChimps. I think the biggest differentiator is those are email marketing tools. Klaviyo is an e-commerce marketing tool. And there's obviously a big difference. As you can see with these automation series, which we're actually working on right now, we've got them in place, but we're, optimizing them because it's time to level up. And I can tell you, moving over to Klaviyo and having all these things built in has been just night and day better because it's built for e-commerce companies. Whereas those are kind of a one size fits all, but they're not specialized. And so, if you have an e-commerce site, I highly, highly, highly recommend Klaviyo.
Yeah, absolutely. So many years we did all this kind of stuff manually and set these up into systems like MailChimp or Drip, that weren't really, they didn't have everything ready to go for you, and you had to figure it all out and do it. And you could make this happen on other platforms, but man, time intensive and setting it up over and over and over again. It's really nice to have a system that's built for e-commerce right out of the gate. So, all right, content marketing. I cannot count the number of clients, the number of sales leads that I've spoken to that don't understand how important content is in e-commerce. I get it all the time. I want to put my 6 products on the homepage and that's it. That's my whole website. I'm going to be a billionaire. No, you're not. You're going to waste a bunch of money and fail because no one's, again, the anonymity, right? We talked about anonymity is your biggest hurdle as a starting out business. Content marketing is probably the biggest and easiest way, I think, to get your name out there, get found, and get in the search results. Content really is king, and it is the core of every search engine optimization strategy. It is the base. It's what everything else is built on. The reason being, Google. If you don't say it, Google doesn't know it. And what I mean by that, it's not like Google doesn't know that CBD exists if you don't make a website selling your product. What I mean is, if you don't say it, Google doesn't know that you do it, that you want to show up in search results for those types of terms or those things. So it is really important that you have content on your site. And when I say content, I don't mean 50 words and that's it on a page. That's way, way too little in most cases. So writing really good content. Avoid keyword stuffing like we saw with the examples that I showed on the website side. You don't want to stick keywords in just for the sake of sticking keywords in. You've got to find a way to stick those keywords in a very natural way that sounds like just the way you would speak it. And if you do speak in a very natural way or write in a very natural way, the same way you would speak, you'll naturally use the keywords that you want to be found for. Now, you can go back through and say, I want to be found for this specific keyword, and you may drop that in places, but you don't want it to be obvious and you don't want to do it too much so that it becomes kind of keyword stuff. So use natural language. Write just the same way you would say it to somebody. Imagine you had a brick and mortar store, they were walking in and they said, hey, what's CBD? And you're going to explain it to them. That's how you should write it on your website. Don't stick in a bunch of keywords. You wouldn't say to that person, hey, what's CBD oil? You wouldn't go, oh, are you interested in buying CBD oil? I can tell you that buying CBD oil is the best way to find and buy CBD oil. You see what I mean? This doesn't sound natural. You'd look at me like I was just absolutely stupid if I talked to you that way in real life. The same thing goes for your website. You are talking to them in real life. You need to make sure that you use natural language. Quality over quantity is very, very important when it comes to content marketing. Some people will go the quantity route and just put out tons of garbage. And maybe in the very, very short term, that gives them an edge over you. But in the long term, quality will trump quantity every single time. So if you write good, well-informed, researched content and make sure that it's exhaustive on the topic that you're talking about, you will rank well. And you will outperform somebody who just goes for quantity. Now, if somebody has quantity and quality, they're a force to be reckoned with. But generally speaking, people tend to focus on one or the other instead of both. Definitely both is great. If you can write very good, high quality content and do a ton of it, that's the gold standard. But generally speaking, that's not the way it works. If you're going to write quality content, it takes longer. You got to do more research. So generally, the quantity isn't there. Over time, you'll build up quantity of really good content. But it's important that you focus on the quality at first over the quantity of it. Answerthepublic.com is one of my favorite websites for finding out topics to write about that people are actually searching for. We're going to look at it in a minute, and I'll talk a little bit more about it. But write it down. Answerthepublic.com. Incredible resource for figuring out content topics. But before we look at that, I did want to just quickly mention content hubs. Content hubs, the idea of a content hub, what this means is on your website, you would start with a broad piece, like what is CBD? And that piece of content may talk about more specific subject matter relating to CBD, but you don't exhaustively explain it in that article about what is CBD. You exhaustively explain what is CBD, and then maybe you have a part about, there are terpenes, and what does that mean, right? One little paragraph about that. Now write a separate piece. What are terpenes? Big, long, informative piece all about that specifically. You link to that from the what is CBD page, and the terpenes page links back to the CBD page. And you keep building that one broad topic in the middle, and all of your content more specifically are hubs or spokes on the wheel, right? With that broad piece being the center of it. Really great way to think about content and structure content on your website for Google and for people. It actually makes a lot of sense when you see sites set up this way. It's a natural flow through the content. Oh, I want to learn more about that. That's linked right to that piece, and there's a big exhaustive piece about it. So content hubs are a great way to structure your content as you build out more and more content on your website. So answer the public. I want to go back and just look at it. This is a screenshot that I took. All I did was type in the word CBD into Answer the Public. So what Answer the Public does is they monitor and keep track of questions that people type into the search engines, right? So when I typed in CBD, this is what Answer the Public spit out to me. And this is like updated on the daily, right? So these are questions that were asked today or yesterday into Google, into other search engines. So I can go right down. This is essentially a plan right here for content for me for the next 12 months. There we go. I'm going to answer every single one of these questions, except these ones right here. And you'll probably see why if you read them. Can CBD oil help with diabetes? Well, we're going to be careful with medical claims. I probably wouldn't answer any of those questions. I would stay away from those. But things like how CBD works in the body, how CBD makes you feel, are CBD and hemp oil the same? This is just a gold mine of information that people are actually asking about and want to know the answer to. So Answer the Public. And this is, again, just for CBD. If you type in CBD tincture, you'll get a whole different list of questions. If you type in CBD gummies, whole different list of questions. And they break it all down, again, for what types of the questions are, whether they are, what, when, where, how. Just a great resource for coming up with a content plan and figure out what do I actually want to write about, but not just for content for writing. We're going to get into video marketing and some other things here in just a second. These are great things to do videos around. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but really great resource for finding content ideas. All right, social media marketing. And when I say this, I don't mean advertising, paid advertising on social media platforms. We're talking organic use of social media and how to market on social media platforms. It's really, really important, especially today, right? Everybody's cooped up inside. Our only touch to the outside world is the internet. So a lot of there's a surge in social media use right now that you can take advantage of, and I highly encourage you to. The main points here are to be authentic on social media. Don't be something you're not. If you are a mom and pop business and you have just you or you and one or two other people, don't pretend that you have a staff of 1,000 people, because you will slip up at some point and reveal that that's not the case. And then everyone will think you're a big fat phony, and you don't want that. So be authentic, be who you are. It's okay. You can be that mom and pop shop, or you can, if you are a big corporate business, you can be that. But whatever it is, be authentic, be who you are, be who your business is. You want to amplify your brand personality on your social media accounts, okay? And what I mean by that is, like, social media is social. Like, you got to have a personality. You don't want to just be ho-hum, here's my latest blog post, and that's the only post I ever make, and over and over and over again, that's all it is. That's unengaging. I don't care. I'm never going to interact with that brand. So amplify, be a personality, whatever it is. Funny, confident, knowledgeable, but man, be something that people can latch on to, identify with, and identify with your brand in a long-term way. So be something, but definitely amplify your personality. The next point is interact with everybody. Social media is social. Again, don't just, here's my latest blog post, boom, and you bounce off, close Facebook, and you don't go back until next week when it's time to post the next blog post. Actually get out there and interact. Not just to your followers. You have to actively go out and find other people to interact with. Comment on other people's posts as your brand. Not as your personal account. Use your business account and comment as the brand. Get out there and you have to interact with people. The way social algorithms work is content that is interacted with gets amplified more by the social platforms algorithms, right? So if you make a post and nobody likes it, nobody comments on it, very few people are going to see it. Doesn't matter what platform we're talking about. But if, man, you make a post and it's really good and it's funny, it's knowledgeable, people interact with it, they share it, they like it, they comment on it, it will spread throughout that social platform. So you've got to interact, again, not just with your followers, but every interaction promotes your brand, because not only do, if you get other people to interact with your stuff, fabulous, because it amplifies it to their friends, their audiences themselves, right? But Not just that, but if you comment on somebody else's stuff, again, as your business, your name's there, your business name is there. Somebody might click that and go, who's that? Who's Joy Organics? You know, why are they commenting on this? And bang, now they're on your social page finding out about you. So getting out there and just interacting is huge on social media. The final point is create shareable content. Again, it's a social platform. This can be infographics, can be memes if that's part of your brand. It could be educational content, but it's called social media for a reason. People want to be social. They want to share things. They want to show people other things like, hey, look at this thing I found. Look at this thing I found. So create shareable content. Again, blog posts are great. Sharing those on your social media, absolutely. I kind of trashed it, but absolutely share that. But do more than that, right? And create unique content that's just for social media. Absolutely a great way to get people to amplify your brand for you. So again, be authentic, interact with everybody, and create shareable content that people want to share, that has good information in it, or it's funny. You know, obviously, you can always leverage being funny. And I think if you haven't seen it, go check out Wendy's, the burger chain, Wendy's Twitter account. They have used roasting on Twitter as like the most amazing marketing tool. Everybody loves Wendy's Twitter because of that. They're funny, funny, funny people running that. I can't believe that Wendy's, as a big corporation, let these guys do that. Whoever's behind that account is just phenomenal. But the fact that they said, yeah, okay, go ahead and roast all of our competition, it's pretty amazing, but it came off wonderfully and everybody loves it. So there's room in the social ecosphere to get out there and be who you are and have a brand personality that's unique to you. Okay, we've got, oh, we're so close. Paid media, 5 minutes. I've got to do this really quick. We got 2 more to go over. So in paid media, traditional PPC is possible. This means Google Ads and Google Shopping. The biggest and best pro tip I can give you here is, it also includes Facebook and Instagram. You can do these, but you need to do 1 to 2 landing pages in between your ad and your actual site if you're using CBD language on your site. So my kind of last point here is I would suggest everything be labeled as hemp, both on your packaging, on your website. You know, it's just going to help you in the long run, so you don't have to double down on expenses, because if you don't do this, it means you have to set up a separate domain, probably a landing page and or pretty much a full-fledged site that only uses the hemp terminology instead of CBD so that you can advertise. So if you think about this ahead of time, you can get ahead of that and maybe save yourself some money. If you go the hemp route right out of the gate. You can also do retargeting and remarketing. This is where we track users to show ads on other websites, right? This is somebody who's already visiting your website. And now we can show ads to them on other websites all across the internet. My favorite platform for this right now is Perfect Audience, perfectaudience.com. And I think the biggest thing that they have that I really am enjoying right now is audience sharing. So I can retarget to another business's audience without that person ever coming to my website, which is amazing. So if you can find businesses that have an affinity with your business, right? Thinking health and wellness, maybe it's chiropractors, yoga studios. I mean, it could be anything. They're running retargeting and you guys can share audiences and get access to each other's customers to show them ads based on sharing those audiences. The one other one I wanted to throw out to you guys is called Mantis Ad Network. They are CBD/cannabis specific. The only advantage they have over anybody else is that, like, Perfect Audience leverages Google's display network, so you're showing ads there. But Mantis is CBD and cannabis specific, so there's a lot of sites out there that are cannabis friendly, even though it's legal in a lot of states, it's still not legal federally. So those cannabis sites can't use Google's ad network, their display network. So there is a ad network specific for that. So this can give you access to some websites that people would definitely have an affinity for already for using hemp, CBD, and that you couldn't get normally. So something worth checking out for sure. Okay, point 9, video marketing. YouTube is the second biggest search engine, okay? They are far and away the second biggest, like only second to Google, the actual search engine itself, right? Both Google properties, but YouTube is the second biggest search engine. People go there and they ask questions. So I suggest you target research queries when you do YouTube videos. That's answer the public, right? Do videos on those questions. What is CBD? Do a video on it, okay? Put it up on YouTube. There's some nuances here. You got to, really do a good job with your title, with your description, what links you put in the title, but it can be very, very worthwhile. And you can also then leverage those videos as content for your website and for social media once you put them up on YouTube. Now you're creating content that you can use multiple times, so it becomes even more valuable. Should you do professional or homemade? You can do either, I think. It really depends on what you're doing for video and why you're doing it. If it's a video blog, it can absolutely be done on your phone, right? But if you're making like an About Us video for your website, you might want to use a professional videographer to do that, so it looks really nice. There are other opportunities to leverage video as well. Doing explainer videos on your product pages. Here's the product. Basically take your FAQ and make a video of it. Here's how many gummies are in this? How long does it last if I put it on the shelf? How do I take it? How much do I take? What does it taste like? All of that. Make a video, put it on your product page along with pictures of the product. Highly valuable. And as I mentioned, you're about your business kind of videos, things that really explain who you are, why you got into this. People like video. Don't make them long. Both of these product pages and about your business, 2 minutes maximum. Attention spans are short. People tend to not want to watch a video much past 2 minutes. Final piece, photography. Photography is so incredibly important. They will make or break your brand online because pictures are worth 1,000 words. If you are using stock photos, everybody knows that they're stock photos. I see the same stock photos on everybody's sites. I see them a little bit more than most because I work in the industry, and so I see a lot of stock photos. You probably don't, but you can tell when it wasn't an actual like custom photo done for that brand, right? It was just a stock photo. You want to avoid those. Professional or homemade. With photography, professional all the way. Please, please, please don't take your photos with your phone. Get a professional to do it because lighting is important. Composition of your photos is important. There's a lot of thought that goes into a photo that you may not even think about. But you also want to think outside the box with your photos. Just your standard, isolated on white background, not great. It's okay, but it's not great. You want to be more. You want to stand out from the crowd. So whether that's lifestyle shots or putting the product in unique settings, anything you can do to make your photos stand out is going to be beneficial. So real quick, some examples of this. Joy Organics. Great photo right here, right? Looks good, it's unique. It's definitely not a stock photo, but there's so much going on here. Really quickly, I would love to spend a half an hour talking about these photos, but really quickly, things that I see here. The product, great. Looks good, lighting's good. We've got this water here, right? Because we're going to drink it when we take our soft gel. But when I look at this photo, my thought as a marketer, I go, that water has so many levels to it. It's clear, clean, cold water. It's the purest thing on earth. Is cool, clear, crystal clear water. Now it's associated with our product. Our product is pure, right? The kind of oversaturated white background that's going on in this photo, again, pure, clean, really speaks to that. And then we've got the flower on the side. It might just be a little dash of color, right? You probably look at this and just go, yeah, it's a good photo. But that plant, to me, says, oh, this is a natural product. It comes from nature. This isn't a synthetic chemical. We're trying to associate ourselves with that. There's so many levels to that photo. Seems simple enough on its face, but there's so much going on there. Next photos, the strawberry lemonade gummies, right? We got lemons, we got the strawberry. We're showing that it's natural, fresh product that's going into these, right? The idea here is that this is the actual lemon that we chopped up and put into this product. But again, there's not much else going on here. It's a nice kind of colored background, but it's pretty minimalistic. But it looks really nice. Even just the idea of let's take a lemon peel, wrap it around a pencil and tighten it so that it curls like that, and then pull it off and stick it down there. Because lemon peels don't do that when you actually peel the other. But it's all of those things really play together, because what that makes me think, for some reason, I want to eat that lemon. In real life, I don't want to eat a lemon. I don't go to my fridge and think I want to eat that lemon. But I don't know, that curly Q bit of skin and the way it's cut makes me think orange more so than lemon. I want to eat it, and it looks really good, right? So very attractive, because the product, the packaging is just packaging. It's, in this case, it's just a bottle of gummies. Like, how can we make that exciting and interesting? And I think this is a really great way to do so. And then again, an isolated product shot, but not your standard isolated on white, really boring. I hate it. This is infinitely more interesting just by having two separate height risers and the lighting in this shot, creating kind of a gradient on those risers from a dark blue to a really light pale blue, adds visual interest to this photo, but puts the focus on the product, but in a way that's much better than just isolated on white, right? Final example, this hero shot. This hero shot is my favorite thing in the entire world. There, again, I feel like there are so many levels to this. Some things to think about as I look at this photo, things that I think about. This is a custom shot. She's holding Joy's product. So it's not stock, because no, you can't Photoshop that into somebody's hand. This is a real photo. There's so much here, again, different levels, kind of reading into it. I look at this and I think, man, they've got these big natural fiber pillows. So it's soft, it's inviting, no hard edges. There's nothing difficult here. It's easy, it's relaxing, it's calm. The color of the rug and the pillows being this tan kind of off-white, again, harkens back to I want to kind of earthy tones, so it's natural, really great. A big no-no that I would normally say, absolutely don't use photos where somebody's eyes are closed, because people want to look in the eyes of the model. But in this case, it works. She's holding a gummy in her finger. She hasn't even taken it yet, but I'm getting the impression that she just took one and is going, wow, that tastes good. I got my eyes closed because it was just so good. And I'm so relaxed and calm and now, and this is fabulous. So again, there's so much in this image. When I'm sure when Jared was getting these taken, this was all thought of, and he probably brought them back and showed people, and they're like, oh, good photo. You know, and that's all you think. To the consumer, they're not going to get a lot of that. You know, all those things I just explained, but we do, as marketers, think about those things and want to make sure that subliminally this stuff happens in people's heads and they do associate these things. So again, photography, extremely important, probably the most important thing you can do as an online retailer. That's all they have. They can't pick your product up. They're not in a store. All they can do is look at your pictures. So make sure they're really, really high quality and that you put some time and effort into them. So I only went 5 minutes over. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to talk to you. I know we had to go fast to get through it all, and we only skimmed really the top of all of these different categories. But you know, if you're interested and you have questions or you want more information, feel free to reach out to me. You can go over to our website, submit a contact form. I'd be happy to give you some free advice. I'm never opposed to talking to people. So please, I would love to hear your questions, comments, or if you want to know more about any one of these, I'd be happy to do so. So thank you very much.
Yeah, great job, Lenny. That was fantastic. I would equate that to drinking out of a fire hose. That was just great. So thank you guys for joining us. This presentation will be on YouTube just as soon as we can get it there. It'll be on the partnership channel that many of you have been to and have seen some of my father's great videos on there. Just a reminder, again, we're having another presentation next week. I will be leading that, and I will be answering your most burning marketing questions. So I put a link to all of the people that are on this call here in the chat box, a Google form there that you guys can go ahead and fill out and put your questions in there. I've got a handful of questions that I wrote down myself, just that we can go a little bit more in depth next time when we have more time. So again, next Thursday, same time, same link, we're going to be going through marketing again. And I have one other quick update that I wanted to share with you, and that is about an immune product that we were planning on launching. It had an ingredient called EpiCore in it. And unfortunately, we're not able to come out with that product after just a ton of back and forth with our manufacturer. They weren't able to get that product to the, really to the high standards that we require. And so we decided to pull back on that particular product. I can tell you, though, that we are working on a few other immune boosting products at this point in time. So please stay tuned for more information as it relates to that. As many of you know, it's just difficult to get immune products even on Amazon these days. So we're looking for some really high quality products to be releasing here in the next couple weeks to a month or so. And as soon as we get more information, we'll release that to you. So thanks again, Lenny. Thank you guys for joining us today. And we'll see you next week.